just the past few months, we've seen extreme rainfall trigger red flood alerts across parts of France, and major storms drive billions in losses across southern Europe. In the US, a single March system delivered a triple threat of hazards, while wildfires in places like Nebraska are already burning at a scale we used to see much later in the year. At the same time, insurance markets are tightening. Coverage is becoming more expensive, more limited, and in some cases just unavailable altogether. So this isn't a future risk anymore, right, Seb? This is already reshaping how cities operate, how infrastructure performs, and ultimately where capital is willing to go.
And we also know that global insured losses from natural disasters have again exceeded $100 billion last year, driven largely by floods, by storms, and wildfires. But the bigger story is the gap. A significant share of losses remain uninsured, which means the burden is increasingly falling on governments, on businesses, and communities.
Yeah, and that pressure is compounding. We're continuing to concentrate people and value in exposed areas. Coastal cities, floodplains, heat-stressed urban environments, many of which were just never designed for today's climate reality. So you take all of this, and then at the same time, we have these systems that are more interconnected than ever. So when infrastructure fails, it doesn't fail in isolation, but it cascades. Infrastructure today isn't just expected to function, but it has to function under stress. It has to recover quickly, and it has to adapt over time. What's interesting, and frankly where the opportunity is that we're starting to move beyond diagnosing the problem. And the real question now is, how do we make adaptation actionable?
Yeah, I agree. You and I recently analyzed, using our adaptation hub and climate score global tools and scenario mapping, exactly what that would mean for a prone neighborhood in Houston and where the investment case would provide the best return, again, for businesses, for the community, and the government. So we're going to dive deeper into that in the next episode. But what emerged was clear. The science that exists today is actually very strong, but the economics are often unclear. So most organizations still can't clearly answer three questions. What should we do first? What will it cost? And how do we justify that investment compared with everything else competing for capital?
Yeah. And that's exactly what we're hearing from clients. If you can't price adaptation, you can't compare options. If you can't compare options, you can't prioritize. And if you can't prioritize, you don't get funding. So what's changing now is the shift from identifying risk to pricing it. Once you can quantify how interventions reduce loss and translate that into economic terms, then the conversation changes. It's becoming less about climate awareness and more about capital planning.
And that's where the Arcadis Jupiter partnership is focused. We're helping translate climate data into investment-grade decisions, because once adaptation can be priced, it becomes investable.
And so in the next episode, we'll unpack what that looks like in practice using the Houston example, and then step back to outline a framework that organizations can use to make their assets and cities more investable in an increasingly uncertain climate.